Welcome to the Money GPS. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we are going to talk about recession and, of course, inflation. This right now is on everyone's mind, and I want to break that all down for you today. Let's begin by taking a look at the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, and what she had to say. Well, apparently, she has warned that food and energy costs could rise more. You remember that? You remember all that information coming out month after month after month about inflation costs and how this would be impacting the consumer? That's where we're at today. Yellen said it's amazing how pessimistic households now are. What's amazing is that she seems to be completely oblivious to reality because, of course, the average individual, they're filling up the pump and they can only put 10 bucks at a time. They can only put 20 bucks at a time. They're not buying certain things anymore. Target, you probably heard about that, where Target and Walmart and others have way too much inventory. What's happening with that? Stay tuned, I'll cover it. She makes $250,000 to speak for an hour at some, conference. She doesn't live in the same world as you and I. Nothing to suggest the US will have a recession. That's what the Treasury Secretary is telling you. The question is, do you believe it? Now, while Janet Yellen is saying this information, if you stick with me until the end of this video, I'm going to show you why this is false. So let's look. Oil slips at the end of the week as traders weigh China's demand outlook. New curbs for Shanghai, but broader restrictions being lifted. Market has tightened on demand recovery and disrupted supply. There are so many different things going on, and I want to cover this. If you look at what's happening with oil, you look at what's happening with gasoline, this has an immediate and direct impact on the consumer. Less consumer spending, obviously going to impact each and every retail location, online outlet, and so on. And that ripple effect continues. Gas prices hit a $5 national average after a rapid rise. Some places are crazy. Some places are near $10 a gallon. Limited examples of that. Inflation, frustration, power, fuel, and food are all rising at double-digit rates, slamming budgets. This is just showing us using the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Their information shows us that food at home, gasoline and other fuels, electricity and utilities, everything is going up. But I'll tell you, it's not just in the United States. I'll show you some other examples, but I know my friends in Australia, I know my friends in, Europe and everywhere else are saying the same thing. The prices have gone ballistic. What is the one thing that all countries have in common, particularly since 2020? What is it? Can you guess? That's right, printing a heck of a lot of money. This shows us the inflation-adjusted gas price. We are just shy of being a record high even when factoring in inflation, okay? So we will see how far that goes. Don't be fooled by conflicting inflation metrics. The Fed won't. The US Central Bank outsmarted itself last year by overparsing the numbers from PCE and CPI. It won't repeat that mistake, sure. Anyway, this is an article out of Bloomberg, and it makes a distinction between the PCE, personal consumption expenditure, and the CPI. When you look at inflation, the metric you've probably already, by the time this video is posted, you've probably already heard the inflation numbers and how they've come out. I'm recording this just prior to that. Well, that number is the CPI, Consumer Price Index. And so the PCE is highly unusual because it is essentially the most manipulated of all. Personal consumption expenditure that doesn't include, think about this, doesn't include what they call volatile food and energy. Would you say, you can let me know in the comments below, would you say that at any point during your day, your week, your month, and your year, that you would utilize either food or energy? Do you think that would be part of your personal consumption expenditure? Yeah, probably. Is it volatile? I don't know. Not really. It's not really that, but when you think about it, like if you go to the store, bananas, just think of one thing, bananas. Is it really volatile in the price of bananas, or it just kind of overall it just goes up and up and up? But are they volatile? Like, do you go and one day it's 99 cents a pound, and the next day it's $40 a pound, and then the next day it's 17 cents a pound? Not really. I wouldn't call it volatile. I would say that it shows the truth. Now, I want to warn you about something right here just before we get into that. You're going to stick with me? Hold on, right? Check this out. Oil prices are one of the best indicators of recession because it's not just oil. It's not just a barrel of oil. It's not just gasoline. When oil prices get too high, economy slows down. Look, Trafigura warns oil prices could reach parabolic state in a threat to the economy. Commodity Traders Chief says energy situation is critical as Russian sanctions squeeze supplies. Not just that, that's what they're highlighting here. And you could see it for yourself. What's going on? Okay, we've got a critical situation. I think that we have a problem for the next 6 months. Once it gets to these parabolic states, markets can move and they can spike quite a lot. I mean, think about where we are today. They mentioned the fact that the all-time peak at 147 a barrel. It got, right now it's about $120 a barrel at the time of this recording. But think about where it was. It was at $130 a barrel at one point just recently. What would bring this down? What would take it off its current trajectory? Recession. Recession, demand falls, prices go along with it. Record UK gasoline prices see the biggest daily surge in 17 years. I hope my friends in the UK filled up their tanks before this happened. Extreme. Extreme. It's affecting everybody. My friends in the UK, Canada, Australia, anywhere you look, all over the place. Okay? So let's take a quick look at what's happening here. By the way, upgrade is coming soon to the office. So you will see the upgrades that I did here. So you won't have to be triggered. Those people won't be triggered by the transitions, okay? It's coming. Stay tuned. Why everyone is freaking out about Target's inventory. Consumers are tired of buying so much stuff. So in this article, Out of Freight Waves, fantastic resource for anything related to shipping and really a lot of stuff actually. But what it says is basically you had retailers like Target that were loading up on everything, and that was creating part of the problem we were having. Ships are costing before that was, let's say, 2,000, now it's 16,000. Like in some cases, it was literally like 8 times greater price for a container. Like extreme on any way you look at it. And so what they say here is Walmart, Amazon, Home Depot, Best Buy, and most every other retailer are now having their own mismatch of supply and demand. They stocked up too much this past year. Now they're struggling with something called inventory bloat. It is even more painful than regular bloating, I imagine, if you are a shareholder in a large retail firm. So what is happening here is that they're saying the consumer just doesn't have that appetite for stuff. They're going to buy their gasoline, they're going to buy their food, but when it comes to widgets, when it comes to trinkets, they don't have the cash, and that's scaring people. It's scaring investors. It's scary, of course, because that has an impact as you move through, right? Oh, my friend, he was telling me about this. Oh, and I heard from my barber, he was saying this. And you start to hear these little tidbits of information and people piece it together. Container shipping rates have declined from their peak, still excessively high, but that has come down. And then we look at the economic aspects of this stock market and financial. Stanley Druckenmiller warns bear market has a ways to run as the Fed hikes rates. Famed investor says a recession is likely to strike next year. He's looking for opportunities to short stocks and the dollar. Remember, he's not selling everything. He's not just taking everything and just selling it and saying, that's it, I'm going to my bunker. That is not what he's saying. He's just saying, quote, my best guess is that we are 6 months into a bear market. For those tactically trading, it's possible that the first leg of that has ended. But I think it's highly, highly probable that the bear market has a ways to run. And I've talked about this extensively before. That connects in with this here. Trough to peak. The 250 basis points rise in the 10-year yield is bigger than 2009, 2010, or 2016, 2018. So we have an extreme scenario. This sort of golden colored or green, whatever that is, colored line, that's the 10-year yield. Look at that spike from the bottom, 2020. Oh, but don't worry, it's because the Federal Reserve and this and that. However you want to look at it, they were intervening this entire period of time, okay? So that's really what I wanted to show you, and just a little bit of humor since you stayed until the end, okay? We've got shortages of all kinds. I've talked about my pain feeling, the avocado price inflation. And now we've got this unprecedented sriracha sauce shortage may last for months. I want to halt everything. I want to stop everything. The sriracha shortage is going to create panic, chaos, and civil unrest. All right. Just a little bit of a joking aside. I think people should just make their own hot sauce. Personally, it's much, much tastier. But that's a whole different story. All right. Look, what's happening today is multifaceted. But in this video, I brought you through many of the steps and what we are seeing. It is a concern for the average person. That's why I'm upping my game. Have you seen my other channel? Look at the top of the description. I put it there. This channel is all about tips, short tips, shareable stuff. Okay? That's the kind of stuff that is going to be able to get into you just like that. Information, tips, how we can move through this, how we can learn from it. I've got a playlist as well on this channel called How To and Solutions. By the way, I don't know if I just mentioned my second channel. Okay, the other one is my second channel. Look in the description, click that second channel. I've got over 2,500 subscribers, I think, over already. So I want to thank each and every one of you for joining that second channel. Okay, really good stuff coming there, I promise. Because it's not the news, it's all related to tips, strategies, and so on. Anyway, so How To and Solutions playlist available on this channel. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you appreciate the information. See you on the next one. Take care.